Picture this: a stormy night, waves crashing violently against jagged cliffs, and a beacon of hope, a lighthouse, sweeping the raging sea with its guiding light. Now imagine that light dies out, plunging ships into peril and leaving the coast below a graveyard of wrecks. Welcome to the sinister tale of Dead Man's Bluff, a cursed shoreline that has claimed more lives than its eerie calm suggests. This is no ordinary lighthouse tale. Welcome to the Nightside Archive. Tonight we bring you the vanishing beacon of Dead Man's Bluff. Located on the treacherous southern coast of Tasmania, the Dead Man's Bluff Lighthouse was once a critical guide for seafarers who braved one of the most perilous routes in the southern hemisphere. But the tales surrounding this ominous lighthouse have long overshadowed its purpose, seeding dread into the hearts of sailors far and wide. Legends speak of a beacon that, for reasons unknown, would go out at crucial moments, casting entire ships to their doom. Strangest of all, no apparent damage was ever found in the mechanism. The first recorded report of Dead Man's Bluff's elusive light stemmed from the fatal wreck of the SS Phoenix in 1878. Captain Elias Rutherford, one of the few survivors, swore that as he approached the shore, the light had disappeared, only to reappear minutes too late, glimmering tauntingly over the shattered vessel and bodies scattered below. For decades, skeptics dismissed his account as delirium induced by fear and exhaustion. Yet what followed couldn't so easily be ignored. Eyewitness testimonies began to trickle in. Fishermen reported seeing the light beam cut across the night, only to suddenly vanish, claiming they heard spine-chilling wails carried by the winds, resembling cries of lost souls trapped at sea. Even local villagers later corroborated something unsettling. There were accounts of ghostly figures scaling the steep cliffside beneath the lighthouse, described as spectral shadows waving their arms in desperate warning, figures that evaporated upon closer approach. Fast forward to the early 1900s, when James Harrow, a seasoned lighthouse keeper, was stationed at Dead Man's Bluff. Harrow kept meticulous logs, detailing in growing despair the intermittent failures of the light, initially blaming the salt air corroding wires or faults in the oil mechanisms. He later penned chilling notes his family would find posthumously. "There is something inhuman in here." One entry read, "Not everything that moves in the night seeks rescue." Harrow mysteriously disappeared in 1905, leaving his quarters undisturbed and his coat hung neatly by the door. Official records claim he fell from the cliffs during routine inspections, but locals whispered otherwise. Then came the installment of modern electric systems in the 1920s. Engineers heralded this as the much-needed fail-safe that would permanently dispel Dead Man's Bluff's cursed history. And it did appear to work, for a while. However, the vanishings would resume decades later, starting with the ill-fated Southern Star freighter. The survivors spoke of men without faces encircling their lifeboats in fog so dense it seemed alive. Again, the lighthouse claimed no technical fault. Experts and amateur detectives alike have long speculated whether the answers lie beneath the bluff. Treasure hunters, seeking troves in submerged wrecks visible at low tide, speak ominously of unnatural undercurrents pulling them farther offshore. More disturbing still were multiple reports made by divers exploring the area. A common thread emerged. The divers suffered panic attacks brought on by hearing voices, urging them into tunnels carved into the seabed. Recovered photos show unexplainable obscure phenomena, like blurs resembling distorted faces pressed against non-existent windows at the underwater cave mouths. So is Dead Man's Bluff cursed or haunted by victims of past catastrophe? Or could it be an elaborate cover-up for something deeper? Speculation veered sharply to conspiracy theories during the 1980s, thanks to declassified Australian naval documents hinting at secret testing sites for experimental navigation tools near this very cliffside. A supposed magnetron disruptor, capable of cloaking signals, might explain why ships veered inexplicably off course. But what of the alleged ghosts? Adding yet another layer to this paranormal lore is the 1997 memoir of Evelyn Kane, a Tasmanian historian who claimed to be descended from early lighthouse keepers. In her book, The Deathless Shore, Kane alleged that murder was woven into the lighthouse's very founding. She recounted oral stories passed down alleging one of Deadman's Bluff's earliest investors, a man known only as Judge Greaves, killed an Aboriginal elder resistant to maritime expansion, and it was said the elder's cursed blood fed the earth, ensuring no light born atop it would shine to save men who valued greed over lives. As of now, anyone venturing near Deadman's Bluff typically notes one unsettling phenomenon, an unshakable feeling of eyes tracking them, despite the abandoned state of the lighthouse. Photographers over the years reported peculiarities including camera malfunctions and images fogged with untraceable mist, always centered near the beacon. But perhaps most unsettling of all is the story of the last caretaker, Julia Crossman, in 2003, the final human presence at Deadman's Bluff before it was decommissioned. Julia described vivid nightly dreams of drowning sailors clawing at her bedroom walls, of shipwreck scenes where the lighthouse beacon flickered in what seemed purposeful betrayal. Unable to bear years of unrelenting torment, Julia abruptly resigned and moved inland. She refused interviews until 2015, when she appeared briefly in a documentary series. In her last known footage, she shudders visibly before saying, "The lighthouse doesn't guide, it chooses." Today, the lighthouse sits empty, weather-worn and battered by the salty Tasmanian winds, yet it feels alive, a looming desolate sentinel guarding its secrets. Would you dare to venture there, walking the spectral cliff corridor beneath a sky so dark it consumes? Could you withstand faint whispers beckoning you closer? It seems that the vanishing beacon of Deadman's Bluff will forever remain a chilling anomaly, a reminder of a strange place where light becomes shadow and safety turns into torment. One visit might be all it takes to make you question if you've returned from there entirely yourself. Until the next haunting tale, good night from the Nightside Archive.